We need a room twice as big as this. I'm sorry. Or I want to be in there. I don't want to be near these guys. I don't like to be near the musicians. You understand? It's like, it makes me feel dirty. All right, let's go. I'm sorry. Jesus was way cool. Everybody loved Jesus. Everybody wanted to hang out with him. Anything he wanted to do, he would just do. He turned water into wine, and if he had wanted to, he could have turned oregano into marijuana, or sugar into cocaine, or vitamin pills into amphetamines, or he could have just looked you straight in the eye and you would instantly be automatically tripping. He walked on the water and swam on the land. He would tell these stories, and people would listen. If you were blind or lame, you would just go up to Jesus. Actually, if you were lame, Jesus would go up to you, and he would put his hands on you, and you would be healed. That's so cool. He could have played guitar better than Hendrix. He could have told the future. He could have baked the most delicious cake in the world. Jesus could have scored more goals than Wayne Gretzky, could have danced better than Baryshnikov. Jesus could have been funnier than any comedian you can think of. Jesus was totally cool. He told people to eat his body and drink his blood. That is totally hardcore, but then some people got jealous of how cool he was, so they killed him. But then he rose from the dead. He rose from the dead, did a little dance, and went up to heaven. I mean, that is so cool. Jesus was way cool. No wonder there are so many Christians.
No wonder. And this is King Missile the Fourth. John S. Hall, Dan West, and Azalea Snail. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's great to have you here. Jesus, an interesting way of looking at Jesus or looking at religion, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more about Jesus than religion specifically, but yeah, it could be a different kind of religious view of Jesus, I suppose, but it's more like, who was Jesus the person, as opposed to how are we supposed to worship Jesus? And when I was growing up, I got a lot of religious training, but at some point I thought it would be good to just think of the person and what he might have been like, but then I got silly with it. I mean, water into wine, so, right. So, like, he would give heroin to the junkies. With, like, one bag, it would turn into, like, 1 million bags or something. Am I allowed to talk about heroin on the air? No. Okay, sorry. What's the next question? I'm sorry.
Well, let's talk about it being King Missile the Fourth. John, joining you, Dan and Azalea, how do they rate up compared to the other versions of King Missile?
I'm not going to answer that question.
This is tough, man.
How do you guys think you rate up? Seriously, you want to put down some of the earlier versions? Because they're not here. And they'll probably never find out about... Oh, wait, does this go over the internet, too?
It does.
All right, so...
There's no escape.
Yeah. You like Dog Bowl. You like Dave Rick. You like Bradford Reed.
You
like Sasha, Chris Ifos, Roger Murdoch.
Hey, John only hooks up with the best.
It's true.
You know?
That's a good way of putting
He's
that.
got good
It's
taste.
true. This is the longest period in between King Missile incarnations, because King Missile III, I think we did our last show probably in 2006, maybe. And then King Missile IV's first show was in 2014. So that's a long gap of no King Missile. Nobody really seemed to miss it, but now that it's back, people seem to be pleased. So... And I think they're doing a great job. I think they do really good versions of the old stuff, and I'm really happy with the new stuff.
Azalea, why don't we start with you? The instrument you're playing is interesting. Would you be able to tell us what it is?
Yeah, it's kind of like a synthesized auto harp. And I think the only other person I know that plays it a lot is Chris Knox. And in fact, we were just saying, we should go stop by and see him. He's a jolly good fella. But it's like, it's called an omnichord. It's really cool because it has a built-in drum machine. It's got chords that you just kind of play, and then it has this cool little strumming thing. And I have a few different ones, and they all sort of have different tricks, and they're really fun to play and kind of hard because the buttons are really tiny and it takes a lot of concentration.
Well, you play it very well.
Well, thank you.
And John, your instrument?
What I did was I stuck a direct input directly into my throat, and I think it gets a really good sound. It's the best, probably most direct way to get like the vocal sound right, even before it comes out of my mouth. So.
Your words, though. It seems like there was a period there where music really felt like it could change the world. It feels like that may have left.
Yeah, I think that's right. So the question is, was that an illusion, the idea that music could change the world? I don't think so. I think at that time, music was so important to so many people that it did change people's lives. I think on a small scale it still does. Like most recording artists, performers will meet people who say, you changed my life. You'll find individuals like that. But I don't know what, if anything, has replaced it. You also think about people like John Lydon, who talked about having no heroes. Maybe they want to be their own hero. I don't know. But they don't want inspiration necessarily from idols anymore, or maybe from music or from art or for anything. I mean, I don't know. I still like to go to art museums. I still like to listen to new music, and it changes me. But maybe it doesn't change me as much as it used to.
I've heard you described as a hero.
Not by me. But there's also the opposite movement of like the artist not wanting to be on a pedestal, wanting to make it clear that, I'm you, I am he, and you are me, whatever, like that, to give people the sense that like we're all kind of collaborating on the future together, and I don't have any more answers or fewer than you do.
Well, shall we hear another song then?
Oh, yeah. Well, Zach, that's the thing. I wanted to tell you. You want to start this?
Yeah.
So this is music from our new record, which is called, I can show it to you and you can read the name, but I can't say it out loud because we found out on the way here that we can't curse. So it's called This Something Guy, but the word something is actually like a word I cannot say. And this is a guy who talks like this, and he just curses a lot. Not because he's necessarily angry, although he does get angry sometimes, but just because he thinks everything is so unbelievable, with an adjective before unbelievable. It's just like everything is modified by these curses. And so there's 6 songs on this EP, and the first one's Closet. It's about your closet is full of shit. I can say shit. I can say shit, but I can't say that other thing. That's weird to me. But so the closet's full of shit, mother something shit, and I clean it out, and I'm really happy. My closet's empty. I give the stuff away to a thrift store, and then I've got a nice empty closet. I can get some new stuff that fits me, and that's that one. And then the next one is Bike. I'm riding a bike. This guy passes me too close. I get really mad. I curse at him. I chase after him. I curse at him some more. And then I write a poem about him. And then the next one is Sunset. Oh my God, that's a beautiful sunset. This, by the way, is the music to the Bike one, but they all got different music. And then the stars are just so beautiful. The sunset is beautiful, and then the moon. This guy, he just loves nature. He loves to ride a bike. He loves to just enjoy life. And sometimes he gets upset if his reverie is disturbed, because the last piece is river, and he's sitting on a pier, and he's looking at this beautiful river. And then this jogger goes by, and it messes up his experience, so he gets really mad and curses at him. And, I wish I could do one or more of these pieces for you today, but I just can't, because, there's something called artistic integrity, and you cannot just say, I'm not going to say flippin', I'm not going to say freaking, I'm not going to do that. That's just wrong to me. That's wronger than saying the word itself. So, basically I'm just telling you, this King Missile the Fourth EP on Power Tool Records, it's a really, we're really happy with the way it came out, and hopefully some of your listeners will seek it out and enjoy it, and yeah, that's it. That's the story of that piece. Yeah, that's it. That's all we had to say about that.
Let's talk about profanity without using profanity.
I think I've mastered the art of talking about profanity without using it.
What's so good about
It's
swearing?
cathartic, I think, to curse. I mean, and so maybe it is good that it isn't allowed in some places. There's something about keeping some things kind of off limits sometimes. The idea of transgression. You can't have transgression if you don't have rules. So that's one good thing about rules is that, you can experience the thrill of breaking them.
Do you ever worry about alienating a potential audience?
No, I think the bigger problem is making the audience anesthetized. I can still watch a Tarantino film and get that feeling of like, oh, wow, I've never seen that before. That's exciting. But I wonder in 50 years whether it'll be the same. Like, if I watch a 50-year-old movie, I can sometimes imagine how transgressive that seemed to people at the time. But I know I'm not feeling what they're feeling. And art is about making you feel. Alienating isn't, no, I wouldn't worry about that. You're always going to alienate some people. The important thing is to use your voice and your heart to make something that means something to you, and then hopefully it means something to somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the songs that are being played today are from your back catalogue. How do songs change over time?
You mean like an old song, How Does Jesus Change Over Time?
Yeah.
Well, after 10 years of doing Jesus, it occurred to me, well, if you were lame, you would not go up to Jesus. He would have to go up to you. It's like, like after a while you start listening to your own words and realizing there's maybe a flaw in your reasoning or in your historical depiction. So you make an alteration. Or you're just getting an idea occurs to you on stage and you go with it. But, I mean, they don't change that much. I feel like with me, usually I was lucky to get it the way I wanted it originally. And so I don't actually mess with them too much. A little updating for the present time, just to let people know that you're still thinking about it a little bit is a good idea.
You're about to play Detachable Penis?
I think so, yeah. We could do that.
Out of your back catalogue, this would be a song that feelings would change with over time, wouldn't it? There must have been elation at the popularity of the song when it first came out, and then it goes from there.
Let me think about that. When I wrote it, I thought this will probably be more popular than most of the stuff I've written. It just had that feeling about it that it was a good idea that people would probably respond to if they would be able to hear it. But I also didn't know if it was going to be able to be played on the radio. But then commercial radio stations picked it up. And suddenly you have this phenomenon of people being aware of you that aren't aware of the rest of the stuff. And this is a problem I have with hits in general. And it's true across art forms. To think of Van Gogh for only like 2 paintings is absurd. There are very few artists where most people know more than 2 or 3 of their works, and that's sad. I fall in that category too, but that is still better than not being known at all, I guess. So it was good to have that. I was fortunate to have Jesus and then Detachable that people heard and some people really enjoyed. The other thing also is when a song is ubiquitous on the radio, I feel like the vast majority of people get sick of it, and so you get a backlash as a result as well. And I completely understand that. So I'll apologize in advance to your listeners who've heard this song too many times. But
But here we go. King Messiah IV, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a funny story about Detachable. Have you ever seen In the Realm of the Senses by Oshima?
I have.
Yeah, you know that part at the end? Where it's, yeah. I woke up this morning with a bad hangover and my penis was missing again. This happens all the time. It's detachable. This comes in handy a lot of the time. I can leave it home when I think it's going to get me in trouble, or I can rinse it out when I don't need it. But every now and then I go to a party, get drunk, and the next morning I can't for the life of me remember what I did with it. I was still looking around my apartment. I couldn't find it, so I called up the place where the party was. They hadn't seen it either. I asked them to check the medicine cabinet, because for some reason I leave it there sometimes, but not this time. I called a few people who were at the party, but they were no help either. I was starting to get desperate. I really don't like being without my penis for too long. It makes me feel like less of a man, and I really hate having to sit down every time I take a leave. After a few hours of searching the house, calling everybody I could think of, I was starting to get extremely depressed, so I went to Kiev and ate breakfast. Then, so I walked down 2nd Avenue towards St. Mark's Place, where all those people sell used books and other junk on the street. I saw my penis lying on a blanket next to a broken toaster oven. Some guy was selling it. I had to buy it off him. He wanted $22, but I talked him down to 17. I took it home, washed it off, and put it back on. I was happy again. Complete. Now, people sometimes tell me, that's great. I'm tired of hearing it, but aren't you tired of saying it? And don't you think it's about time you got that thing permanently attached? And I say no, because even though sometimes it is a pain in the ass, I like having a detachable penis. Detachable penis. Detachable penis. Detachable, 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 detachable penis. Detachable penis. Detachable penis. Detachable penis.